partnering in an operation up in here in Clearwater based on what our troops are seeing in the field. Trucks with out-of-state tags with the equipment in them, we knew that we were going to have a problem here. Ironically, while we were planning this operation, we got a call last week, and it involved a citizen who realized they had hired an unlicensed contractor to do $200,000 worth of work. They contacted us, we intervened, made contact, and in fact, this individual was not licensed to do most of the work they were there and purported to be able to do. So the problem, the prevalence is there. We noticed it, we saw the indicators, we had this big case. And the advantage for us is to be able to partner with the Sheriff's Office in this because they've been doing this for many years and have a lot of experience at it. We wanted to leverage that responsibility and provide our own resources here in our community to help make this a bigger and better operation. And based on what the Sheriff said and what we have behind us, I believe that has been quite successful. So, we haven't had this kind of storm damage here in Clearwater previously. It, in some instances, was catastrophic. These houses were completely destroyed, infiltrated with water, and we're just here to make sure that our citizens don't take another hit from an unlicensed contractor. So, thank you, and we'll be glad to answer any questions you might have.
Anybody got anything you want to ask?
Are these people being aggressive towards homeowners? I mean, homeowners are desperate to get their stuff fixed and stuff like that. Are they being more aggressive as maybe a red flag?
Yeah, some of them are. Some of them actually, when the undercover detectives were at these houses, some of them were walking up and just out of the blue offering to do services. Some of them have, and I showed in the last press conference, I showed some of the cards that they had and some of the, I'll call them brochures and some of the markings. I didn't put them up here today, but they're being aggressive. It's kind of shoddy. They're out there, and again, they're driving up and down. What we're seeing too, and the Chief mentioned it, I think we're seeing it in not only Clearwater, but up and down the Gulf beaches. A lot of these people are here, when the out-of-state tags are actually fraudulent tags from Colorado and from Texas and from Louisiana. And they're just waiting to see these people, and then they'll just come up knocking on the door, hey, I'm here to do work. And again, a lot of these people are desperate because they're so vulnerable, because they just want their stuff fixed. And, unfortunately, the adage, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. There was one of these guys yesterday in this operation that came to do some work, and they were negotiating. And the original negotiation was, the guy said, oh, I'll do this work for $35,000. And they said, whoa, okay, I'll do it for $3,000. I mean, so they have no intention of doing the work. Okay? They're just going to rip them off.
What's been the reaction for homeowners that you all have helped when they realize that they've been scammed, or they realize like you said, they're about to get hit again in the middle of a catastrophe or crisis?
Well, most of them are just devastated, and they feel bad. Of course, imagine, people are going to feel embarrassed by this. They know better, but they're so desperate to get the stuff done and get the work done and get it done as quickly as possible because they want to get back in their homes. So I'd say, the general reaction is that they're like, oh, we know better. But we're so desperate to get this done. They feel a victim to it. They really are, and that's why I say that people are so vulnerable, and then they're double victimized. And of course, there's that level of embarrassment too. So, we got to feel for all these people for so many reasons, and that's why we're going to keep doing this. And we're not going to stop it. I get that, but we can keep doing it and send a message and take as many of these people off the street as we possibly can, just to keep people from being in that situation.
Sheriff, in these cases here, were there any examples where these unlicensed contractors took down payment and then left or did shoddy work?
Yeah, I think that the chief was talking about, he'll talk more about that one case. I mean, there are plenty of them, sure.
Yeah, so in that particular case, I believe the down payment was $25,000. So the owner is out of state, that is my understanding. They paid this person $25,000. They began doing the work that they were not licensed to do. And, it could have been a result, and I'm not sure, I haven't read the total case file, but it could have been a result of the publicity related to the prior operation that made them think to ask the question. And I think that's really important because they take advantage of people that are desperate. Getting workers and getting contractors, it's difficult because everyone needs them right now. And what happens is they get somebody and they say, hey, we will do the work. What the uneducated homeowner doesn't realize is that could prevent them from getting insurance in the future. prohibit them from selling the home when someone does a title search and finds that, well, there's all this work that's been done, but there's no record of it, there's no permits for it. So that's why it's so important. And money, in these ops, obviously, money's not changing hands, but the victims that we come across, money does change hands.
So in that case, the unlicensed contractor took the 25,000 and then went dark?
No, they didn't go dark. They were working, but working on things they weren't permitted to work on.
Sure, sure.
So people know, I'm sorry if this was mentioned, is there an easy way in Pinellas County or Clearwater for them to check? What's the website for them to check if their contractor's license?
Yeah, you can go to, and we can get that information so you don't have to put it out, but you can go to the Pinellas County Construction Licensing Board, also the Florida Department of Business and Professional Regulations website. You go in and check and see if people are. Another way you can too is that we find this where these people have these what are called LLCs or limited liability companies, or they'll say INC for incorporated on it, and they're not. And you can go to the Florida Secretary of State's office and run all of those names and run the people and see if they're a legit corporation. Because that's also really important too, not only being licensed, but when they say they're incorporated and they're not, because when they're incorporated, it gives people a level of assurance that there's something there to back them up. It's a legit company. So all of those are places they can check to verify.
Great, I want to make sure people know.
Sure,
We go
absolutely.
To make sure.
No, it's good stuff, yeah.
Sheriff, what do you say to people who are doing this type of fraudulent activity? What do you say to them if they're thinking, no, I'm still gonna pull up, I'm still gonna see if I can get my bump down there?
You're gonna go to jail. You know, I mean, it's so frustrating. You know, what I say to them is, you know, I guess really, you know, it's all about you. What about these poor people that lost everything, that had all their stuff sitting in their front yard, everything from their couches to their stoves to their TVs to their personal belongings and clothes and couches and everything else, all that debris got hauled away. And now they're trying to rebuild in these houses. They got nothing. And you're here and you're gonna rip them off. And, you know, you gotta come in and, like I said, there's plenty of examples and plenty of it. I give you tons of them. You know, this guy, oh, well, you know, $35,000, oh, no, I'll do it for $3,000. That guy has no intention of doing any work. Just give me the money and I'm gonna take off. And so, you know, they really are praying. And, you know, what I say to them is that we're gonna be here and we're gonna be around. And for those that wanna keep doing it, is we're gonna put your tail end in jail.
Sheriff, is there a bigger story behind the sign that's over there to your left?
You know, just of what it is, you know, I mean, and this guy, and so that particular guy, so he was out there, and he says he's doing cleanup and drywall. But what he actually was arrested for is doing electrical work. Now, you know, and doing electrical work's a big deal. You're gonna burn something down. He has no business doing electrical work in the other projects that he was doing. So he's got this sign on the side of his truck, you know, cleanup and drywall removal. Well, he wasn't doing cleanup and drywall removal. He was engaging in very, very specific skilled trade of electrical work and some others that you got to be licensed for a reason. You know, the other thing I would say, and I didn't talk about it and we haven't mentioned it, but this is also so unfair to the legitimate contractors who are out there who are licensed, who have demonstrated the proficiencies and the skills and jumped through the hoops, and they're getting business taken away from them, so it's not fair as well. But this guy is he throws this thing on the side of his car, says he's doing cleanup and drywall. Of course, there's nothing on it with licenses or anything else. He shows up and he's going to be an electrician. It doesn't work that way.
The undercover operation, did your undercover detectives put out messages for quotes, or how exactly did that go down?
All the above. Like, you know, we had, so like I said, we had people walking up, all the signs that Clearwater had out here, we were writing down phone numbers, we had undercovers taking phone calls, we're setting up appointments, we see ads in different places, you know, it's really, you know, as they would say, you know, unfortunately, you shoot fish in a barrel, there's so much of it out there, it's not hard. I think that this operation going into yesterday when we started, for the number of phone numbers that we had and people that contact us, set up appointments, I think we had well over 120. So, you know, and the last one down in Madeira Beach, I think we had well over 200. So finding the numbers and finding the people that are out there engaged in this is one of those things that we had the time and the resources. We could just keep this going perpetually, you know, 5 days a week, 7 days a week, and we probably get as many as we're getting, you know, every day because there's so much of it going on out there.
Are you seeing repeat offenders?
So far, we haven't. Now, to take that back, now, in this respect, not in our operation, we haven't. But we are arresting people, we have seen people that we arrested in these operations for unlicensed contracting that have previously been arrested for unlicensed contracting. But we haven't had somebody come back. Remember, you know, we did the one in Madeira Beach, we did the one here, so not a lot of opportunities so far.
Have you seen anything to this degree in the past, this many people out there doing this?
No, this is so unprecedented. You know, as these storms, especially Helene, is unprecedented for Pinellas County. This type of unlicensed contracting, the volume of it, the magnitude, people from outside the area, all the illegals that are here, and all of what's going on, we have never, okay, in Pinellas County seen anything like this before. This is totally untrue.
Water where y'all are seeing this concentrated more than others?
So it's where the areas that were most affected, obviously. I mean, it's easy for them to post their signs and patrol the areas that they see mountains of people's belongings on the side of the road. So it's really easy for these folks to find their victims, if you will. And I think what the sheriff mentioned and what we haven't seen, there's always this unlicensed contracting going on here locally. But what struck me in the times that I was out there was the frequency I came across out-of-state tags. Every day, multiple out-of-state tags with you know, trucks that look to be performing trades of some type. So, you know, that is the difference, is that everyone gravitated to the area knowing, and then all they have to do is drive around and look where the debris fields are and look where the devastation is, and they don't have to go very far. And that's where we found all the signage for the most part. And ironically, you would find one of these handwritten signs, "Will do drywall" or cleanup, next to one of the county signs saying, "Hire licensed contractors." So certainly the signage and the messaging doesn't dissuade anyone, and they're still coming from out of state for that purpose.
I know the DBPR website is out there for people, but for people who aren't as tech savvy, if they're confused, can they call your agencies if they're supposing that someone they're talking to might be unlicensed?
Well, yeah, I mean, they should probably really call, and you can call the Pinellas County Construction Licensing Board as well. We don't have access and direct access to those databases for where we can, you know, give it out to the public. So they really shouldn't call to verify whether somebody's licensed. But one of the things, ask them what their license number is. Ask them for it. It has to be, in my word, it's got to be, if they have a sign on their truck, unlike this, whatever, there's no license number on there. So if you see something like that, and it doesn't have a license number on it, doesn't have any other information, it doesn't say that it's an entity, it's an LLC, it's incorporated, you see that, you can very easily go on the Secretary of State's website. But to your point, is they can call the Construction Licensing Board, and that would be a good place to start. All right, thanks everybody, we appreciate it. Thank you.